afternoon. My name is Holger Matthias Deh. I'm chef and founder of essentiabyholgerdeh. And I would like to introduce basically myself and of course some desserts, what I will do this afternoon. And it's a pleasure to be part of the Miele Guest Chef series. Why plant-based desserts? What is basically something what not everybody does and what is actually pretty complicated. If you come from a regular pastry background, what I have for 20 years, I think it's really important that we have items what is for everyone, and we have really ingredients what is basically plant-based. So that makes things a little bit more interesting because you cannot use everything what you have. So in my kitchen, I don't have any eggs, I don't have any butter, I don't have anything, any gelatin. So it's something what is a big challenge, but it's actually a lot of fun. So basically, the dishes I will do today is fruit tart and the lime granité. That what you can have in either of my shops, what I have in IFC or in Pacific Place, and or you just cook it with me now. Good. So I have a question for you, and the question would be, what is your best summer plant-based dessert? So be creative, put some questions in the comments, and then in the end of it, I will choose 3 people who will have a dessert from Essentia. I will only tell you later what it is. All right, I put the question over here, so you always can be reminded of it. And then we start cooking. All right, so I'm starting with the lime granité, what I have here, the ingredients. So for lime granité, I use limes. You can use lemon, you can use calamansi, whatever you fancy by yourself. So I have water, I have brown sugar because I don't use any white sugar in my ingredients, and I have the lime juice and a fresh lime. So I bring this over here because I start to cook. Okay. Basically, I put the water and the sugar together and bring this to boil. It is important that the sugar dissolves, because otherwise you will have sugar crystals in the dessert later, and what is not good, because the texture will be different. So bringing now sugar and water to boil. Normally I let it cool fully down, but I don't have enough time, so that's why I will add later on the lime juice. And then this goes in a container, and this goes in the freezer. Best it's done overnight, so it's a rough block. And then I will take a fork, and then basically this will go on top of my fruit tart later. It's almost boiling already, what is very good. Want to make sure everything is dissolved. You should smell this, it smells really good. Good, almost there. All right. Good. having it boiling. As said, normally I would cool it down fully, but I don't have the time for this today. So I put my lime juice in, and of course some fresh limes, lime zest, because it gives you a nicer texture and a different flavor. So, and again, you can use lemon, calamansi, you can use even grapefruit if you fancy it, and that's actually pretty good and very flexible. All right, good. And now this goes in the container. And this will be frozen to a block. Okay. All right. I've prepared it already in advance, so we don't have to wait until tomorrow. And that's I will bring up later. Good. Next thing we will do is the tart base. I have flour. It's a T45 flour. It's a special flour for tarts and easy baking. So I have here as well almond ground. I have brown sugar. I have plant-based butter. If you use plant-based butter, it's very important that you work it in an environment what is cold, because if it's too warm, it's basically it will melt immediately. It's different as a regular butter. Then oat milk. I will put oat milk in, as my personal preference is oat milk. You could use rice milk. You could use almond milk, whatever you like and what you prefer. But this is all goes together. I blend it. I work it through, and then we have it as well. It goes into the fridge overnight because it's have to be a little bit harder. So as well, I prepared it already in advance. So here is the dough done already. What is always important is that you wrap it in something. Yes, I have here plastic, what is not the preferred thing, but it's actually a plastic what is is biodegradable, right? So here you have the dough. It's cold, and then you roll it out roughly to 3 millimeters, because this is the tart shell size. Okay, I have done this already in advance too. So this is like 3 millimeters. Then you need for this a knife. I use a ruler and basically 2 tart shells. Good. So we cut it a little bit bigger than the tart is. The tart is 1.5 millimeter high. So I take it a little bit bigger, roughly 2 centimeter, and cut a line. Good. Then there are different ways how you can line this. You can either go first inside here and cut the bottom. Okay. And then you take the dough off. And then we line the tart. Okay. All right. Good. Here's a piece of missing. All right. And then you put it basically in the fridge to harden it down. Then we cut, make sure it's a nice crust. Are vegan butter and usual butter the same in texture? Can I flexible swap between the two? You're able to basically to swap it, but you need to make sure that the tarts, when you work it, the temperature is pretty cold, as if it's too warm, the plant-based butter will melt. So this is the biggest challenge what I have in general with plant-based desserts, that we have, if it's too hot, like it's a little bit warm inside here as well, I can feel it. The tart is not the same, but that's why we can put it in the fridge and to cool it down, or in a freezer if you have. Good. This basically goes now in the oven for 12 minutes, roughly 8 to 12 minutes, and 160 degrees. Okay, I cut it out. Good. Yeah. All right, so having this part done, that's the base of your tart. And of course, we have prepared it already in advance too. So later on, when I assemble it, I have done it. Okay. All right. Good. All right. So I have here my tray. I put a tart in, and then it goes into the oven at 160 degrees. Okay, good. So next we will make the oat milk sponge, where we have following ingredients. We have flour, again T45. I have brown sugar. I have oat milk, again you can use any milk what you like. I have vegetable oil, and I have water. So everything goes in here, and then basically what is happening is it's easier in a way. You don't have to whip any egg white, you don't have to whip anything, and that's important. So if you have any questions about those things, you easily can ask, and I will answer you the questions. Okay, so now I have in the brown sugar, the flour, the water, I put the oil and the oat milk. Good. So I just blend everything together. And then we will bake it as well at 160 degrees for 8 to 12 minutes. It really depends on your oven, what you're using at home, because every oven is a little bit different. And that's actually a good part to see, make sure it's all well combined, no lumps inside. Okay, this part we have done as well. Question is, what kind of flour are you using for the sponge? I use a T45, or in Germany we say a 450. That's a flour what is typically used for any sponge, and you can use it as well to making croissants or for bakery. So it's very universal flour. What have not so much, what have actually roughly 13% of starch. Okay, and that's basically, I put it in here and then we bake it. Question is, what is your favorite vegan dessert? My favorite vegan dessert, actually, I love the most is the rocher, what I do basically in the shop. It's a chocolate mousse, what is as well oat milk based. Then I put a hazelnut center inside. I freeze all of it. I dip it in chocolate. I put some oat milk crumbles, brown sugar crumbles around. I dip it again, I spray it, and I finish it with some gold leaves. Okay, now I'm baking this. Again, 160 degrees for roughly 8 to 12 minutes. Good. So now we have done the lime granité, we have done the tart shell, and basically the oat milk sponge. Okay, there comes another question. What butter do you use for making tart shells? Well, I'm using the same butter for everything, because it took me like 6 months to basically to get the right butter. I had so many different things, so many textures, so many flavors, but with this butter, it comes actually from England. It's the perfect way for me to make my puff pastry, my cookies, all of this. All right, good. Any other questions do you have for me? Please in the comment below. All right. Next thing is I do a strawberry gel. What I have fresh strawberries. What I do in a sense of, I take the strawberries, but I need to get them first. Let me get the strawberries first. Okay, I'm coming back in a minute. Huh? All right, I'm back with the strawberries. For me, of course, the best strawberries are the strawberries from my mom's garden back home in Germany. You grow up with it. This is something what is always special. As a kid, I went in the garden and I took it actually with the soil and eating it, all of it. It's the best thing what you can do. Of course, can I do it here? And of course, I don't do it in a way like this. So basically what you do, you take the strawberries, you cut them, you cut the green off, and you use the hand blender to blend it. And then this is how you get the puree in the end of the day. So here I have the strawberry puree, and I have brown sugar and agar-agar. I make a gel out of it. This you can replace with mango, with pineapple, with all kind of fruits what you have at home. When it's seasonal, the best. All right? Good. So now I'm cooking it. Again, I put in the strawberry puree. And I put in the brown sugar and the agar-agar. So what does the agar-agar does? it's basically, it gives you a texture, what is like a block in the end of a day. And then I take, and this I put then in the fridge overnight. So it's get hard, and then basically I need to blend it again with a hand blender or with a blender. And this is basically what gives you a base of the things. All right, so did you join already the game? You know, give me your best summer dessert, vegan dessert, and I will choose later 3 people who get the desserts either on my online shop, you can pick it up, or from my stores. All right, so basically this is already boiling. This goes then into a container like this. All right, so again, agar-agar will harden, and you can use anything, really any kind of fruit, what you have, to make a gel out of it. Can I make a question? Can I make mango gel instead of the strawberry gel for the tart? How would the flavor be? For me, if I do gels or if I do flavor combinations, it is always the same flavor what I use in the tart. I like then to have it simple, a clear taste. So if I do a strawberry tart, I do strawberry gel. If I do a mango tart, I do a mango gel. So that's, I think, straightforward and what is good, because you have the flavor all the way through. Don't mix too many flavors, because these flavors is always, some people confuse it. Small different flavors, more confusion you have. All right, so now we will basically assemble the desserts. The sponges and everything still takes a little bit of time, but of course I've prepared everything before. All right, so here the tart shell, then the strawberry gel, right? Then I have here the oat milk sponge. I have strawberries, and then I need the lime zester, because in the end I will have a lime as well on it. All right, so assembling. So for me, I like it best if there's a little bit of the strawberry gel on the bottom. Then it's followed by the oat milk sponge. You see the color of the brown sugar of this, you know. If you use white sugar, what I don't prefer, it will be white. But this is all brown. It's all nice and good. You put it in here. Then you add a little bit more of the gel. Okay. Like this. Then you can put already some zest over it to give it a little bit of tangy flavor as well. You can do this here. You don't have to, but it's a nice part. And then we take, of course, the strawberries. Strawberries you can cut as you wish. Make sure they are washed, so there's no more soil of it. So as I said, as a kid I was stealing it from my mom's garden. I hope she don't listen. In Germany, what is always a good thing to have, because actually strawberries is one of my favorite fruits I like to have, and I like to do desserts with. All right, so you can cut it in quarters. It always depends on the size of your strawberries. Okay, we assemble here. You can as well take some round cuts. You can put it as well in between. You can cut it. See, and with your seasonal fruit, what you have, it all depends. You just want to make sure it's nice and high. If you think it's not sweet enough, you can always put a little bit of sugar on top of it. but I think the strawberries are very good, so no need. Good. I have another question. Mixed berries is okay? Isn't it too strong? Replace for strawberries. For me, I think the best combination is one fruit. Yes, I do sometimes mix berries, but only if all the berries are in a good season. I don't like it if the strawberry or if the berries are not in season. You buy it whenever it is, because right now it's the best season of strawberries in Europe. Okay, so you still have the chance to join the game. So did you have already joined it? If not, the question is over there. What is your best summer plant-based dessert? Be creative, all right? So again here, I have I put a lime zest over it. So, but you don't have to do it because I like actually the combination between the lime and the strawberry. It gives a nice summer flavor. All right, so here, this is the granité. So you take a fork and you just go over that, right? So you see, it's like a snow. You can say snow, you can say granité. So that's actually something what you have. So, and then we place it over your fruits. And this basically gives you another additional texture, flavor, and in the summer it's cooling you down, right? So then again, you can put always a little bit more lime on it. And that's actually the dessert for today, what I want to introduce you. So we have inside the sugar dough, we have the brown sugar dough, we have the oat milk sponge, we have the strawberry gel, and the fresh strawberries, plus the lime granité on top. What you can see, it's starting already to melt because it's so refreshing. It's best to eat out of the freezer correctly. And then that's basically something I like to do in the summer, and I hope you like it as well. One more question coming up. What is the biggest challenge ever in creating these awesome vegan desserts? Well, there are many challenges what I had over this period of time when I created all of these desserts. A lot of R&D went into this. So biggest challenge was for me to replace the eggs. What I think it was really, really difficult. And that's certain things I have not overcome, but I think egg is basically in the sponges. See, I use baking powder, as you could see, to give a lighter texture. And that's things what challenges. Other challenges was ingredients in general, because there are so many creams and milks outside, so much sugar in the things, and actually all of this milks, oat milks, if I want to add sugar, I always can add sugar, but if I have to take it out, it is very difficult. Okay, then comes another question. Any tips in handling vegan ingredients? I think what is the most important part is that you have a cold environment, because most of the things melting very fast, right? So like the butter, if it's too warm, if I make my puff pastry, if it's too warm, it will melt. All right, so there comes another question. Could I make a vegan cake through replacing the usual cake ingredients with the vegan ones? I wish it would work like that, but unfortunately it doesn't. You need certain things, like egg. I cannot make a cake where I don't have eggs, so I need to replace it with other things. And this is important that you understand your ingredients, what you have. It takes a lot of time to understand everything, but it's a lot of R&D going into this. Good. There comes another question. Why strawberries and lime together? It's one of the favorite things what I have. I think a strawberry is a summer dessert, but if you have the lime to make it more round, the flavors and the textures are just better, right? So lime, strawberry, you could use, as I always say, calamansi, because I lived like 8 years in Malaysia. So their Malaysian fruit is the calamansi. So, and it's really, really a nice thing. It's something what is in between an orange and a lemon and then lime, and it's very tangy. Okay, there comes another question. What are the difference between using gelatin and agar? Well, the basic thing is gelatin is made from pork, what is basically not usable. Gelatin is, when you use it, it gives you a texture what is very soft if you use the right amount, and agar is very hard. So this is why you need to blend it. Good. Are you following a vegan diet? It seems very challenging. It's a good question as well. I try to eat as less as animal products as do. I basically, since I started this entire way of eating and cooking, I lost around 20 kilograms. But here and there, I still have items what is not vegan. But in general, I basically look more for our environment and look more on those things. All right, I see there comes another question. No, it doesn't come a question. It's join the game if you have not done it yet. That's actually, yeah, you will have, now I can reveal it. I have basically a set of 4 different pastries. What you can get if you give me the right answer or the best creative desserts. That's, I will choose 3 people and I will contact you then afterwards. You can order this on the online shop. And today or these days we have a millefeuille. We have basically on the strawberry desserts, a millefeuille. We have, let me think, I do it every morning. So it's, we have a lemon meringue tart, of course, and we have the 4th dessert will be a surprise. All right, good. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you, and I hope you will create this dessert at home or just come in the shop and buy it from me. All right, thank you, Miele, for having me. Bye.